In our second example, you can see that now we are using, instead of using letters, we are using real names. John, Tim, and Andy shared some books. They are saying some books. You note this, eh? Some books, full stop. John received a third of the total books shared. I'm now starting to feel that the books are not known yet, but at least the fraction John received is a third of the total books shared. Tim got a quarter of the total books, and Andy obtained 20 books. What is funny here is that Andy got 20 books. The fraction for Andy is not given, but the total number of books Andy got is 20. So, what is the first question? What fraction of the books did Andy get? We have already noticed it in our question when we were reading through. Andy had no fraction, so in the first place we need to find the fraction for Andy. Here we go. What they are supposed to share is represented by one whole number. So one whole number, take away what was shared by John, that is J, a third, added it to what was shared by Tim, T, which is a quarter, will give us the fraction for Andy. Now, let us, this is not the fraction, this is a quarter for Tim. A third is for John, then a quarter is for Tim. We are going to subtract after getting a single fraction out of our brackets. However, the denominators are different, so there is need to find the LCM in there. One whole number, take away, what is the LCM? LCM of 4 and 3 is what? Is 12. The LCM of 3 and 4 is 12. So we are having our 12 as the LCM. Then when we get a third multiplied by 12 plus a quarter multiplied by 12 will give us a simplified fraction. By 3 once, by 3, 4, and by 4 once, by 4, 3. So out of the whole of this we are having 3 added to, not 3, 4, which is got from 1 multiplied by 4 there, and 1 multiplied by 3, which is 3, out of the whole thing as 12. Remember, this is supposed to be taken away from one whole. So when we are adding, we shall have one whole take away. 4 plus 3 is 7 out of the denominator, which is 12 out of 12. Now, I told you when I was handling example 1 that the denominator for the second fraction we are subtracting from the whole will determine our whole in our whole number in terms of fraction. So instead of one whole, now I have 12 out of 12. I'm taking away 7 out of 12. This one will be as good as we are subtracting fractions of the same denominator. So I write the denominator once, and I will be subtracting the numerators only. What is 12 take away 7? 12 take away 7 will give us 5. So our fraction for the last person, who is Andy, is 5 out of 12. So Andy contributed 5 out of 12. That's Andy's contribution. When you look at example 2, how many books did they share altogether? How many books did they share altogether? I'm going to summarize for you as I did last time in the first example. I summarized for you in a kind of table the information we have for the 3 people. The information we have for the 3 people. Here we go. Here we go. I have John. I have Tim, and the last person I have is Andy. Then I can have the total, if I want to, the total contribution or total share. There. Johnny's fraction was a third. Tim's fraction was a quarter. We have got the one of Anders 5 out of 12. 5 out of 12. Then the fraction for the total I will not put, simply because I'm having different denominators and I would be using equivalent fraction for each of these to get a similar denominator, which I will not do. So John, his contribution is not given in terms of books. Tim's contribution in terms of books is not given. And his contribution in terms of books was given to us. If you remember in our question, I enclosed it here, it is 20. So 20 here. I can ignore this, I can ignore this also, because I've already got a column that is complete. I have a fraction for Andy, I have the number of books for Andy. Using algebra to find the total, because the question is, how many books did they share all together? So I need the total share. To find the books they shared all together, in my first method, I will say I'm using Andy's fraction, Andy's fraction, which is 5 out of 12, and the number of books Andy got, which are 20 books. Let the total share, be y. Let the total share be y. Therefore, I will say 5 out of 12 of y is equal to 20 books. That 5 out of 12 of the total gives us 20 books, which Andy got. Using Andy's fraction and the number of books he got, we shall find the total share. So 5 out of 12 multiplied by y is as good as 20. So 5y out of 12 is as good as 20. Solving this algebra, we have one fraction which we shall multiply on both sides, and this will be 12 multiplied by 5y out of 12, which is equal to 20 multiplied by our denominator, which we must multiply on both sides. This 12 by 12 once, by 12 once. So I'll have 5y, which is as good as 20 multiplied by 12. So in the next step, we shall divide both sides by 5. So 5y divided by 5 is as good as 20 multiplied by 12 divided by 5. 5y divided by 5, you get y alone, or 1y, and by 5 once into 24 times 4 multiplied by 12 will give us the total share as 48 books. 48 books. That is using the algebra method. If you are using the algebra method, you have already got that their total share was 48 books. Now we're using proportions, which can be your second method. I've seen most of your teachers using this one as well. We shall say method 2. If you don't want to use the algebra method, you can use the Putz method. The fraction we have is 5 out of 12, and it is having the number of books as 20 books. So to start with, we shall say the numerator gives us the first parts. 5 parts. 5 parts represent 20 books. 5 parts represent 20 books. What about 1 part? 1 part represents 20 out of 5. Out of 5. Which means 1 part is represented by 5 once, by 5, 4. 1 part represents 4 books. Then the denominator, which is 12, it will give us the total. The 12 parts. The 12 parts represent 4 times 12. And the whole thing will be books. 4 times 12 is 48. And this will be 48 books. So 48 books using method 2, 48 books using method 1 will show us that what they were supposed to share altogether was 48 books. One person got 20 books, the others shared the remaining 28 according to their fractions. If you get each of them or each of their fraction and multiply it to 48, you can be in position to know the number of books each got. So how many books did they share altogether is the question. So I stop here. There were 48 books. Thank you so much.